Let me introduce you to Mr. Sonck, Jan Sonck, one of my favorite speakers, and he will talk about data innovation. Thank you, Jan. Here is the
microphone. Microphone? You have a microphone?
Je kan ofwel hier praten of je kan voor deze microfoon nemen.
I take this one. I prefer this one. So please continue streaming the presentations if you have a mobile phone and you are a Proximus customer. I can only encourage you. I will run you through a couple of data-related innovations as we exploit them already today at Proximus. Some we have on the drawing table and some are in our imagination. Still, about 20 years ago, as you have seen in a previous presentation, the cell phone was invented. Today everyone has one, and since this guy smartly invented the smartphone, about 65 or 70% already of Belgians have a smartphone. And these smartphones, they generate a lot of data. But you know that. One of the advantages of smartphones and cell phones compared to other tools to measure location in this augmented world is the fact that you don't have to put location or GPS on in order to know where people are. And that's incredibly interesting for a company like ours. Since 2 years now, we are exploring ways to help tourist organizations, to help public sector organizations, to help governments and cities to see how they can optimize, for example, traffic management, traffic analysis, how they can optimize number of people on trains and tracks, etc. I can give you a lot of examples, but I don't have the time to go into that. So if you want to hear more about what we already do today, I'm here all day. During the breaks, just bump into me and I'll explain to you. In cities, we already do a lot of stuff with retailers, with the cities themselves to measure where do people come from, where do they live, where do they go to, where do they have a second residence. All information, very interesting for ourselves, but also interesting for our corporate customers and certainly for young entrepreneurs who want to build business on that. But if we think a little bit further, and I'm not here to talk about location, but I'm really here to talk about the next phase, there is much more we can do. If we take location data from an operator, and we saw some nice examples in the presentation of UCL this morning, and we add to that all the power of social and all the power of clouds, we can do a lot of other stuff. We also heard already this morning, but I want to stress on it, that privacy and trust for us is very important. So everything we do today with our customers is only based on aggregated and anonymized data, but at the end we are seeking ways, and I hope the government will help us there, to be more open towards, let's say, universities. My personal dream is that we can open up a sort of lab where we can invite all universities. We have tons of data they could play with, not only location data, but also data coming from our set-top boxes, from our Wi-Fi networks. They could use, and they could do very, very interesting work with. We are in discussion also with Philippe to see how we can do this with the Belgian data science communities. Because today what we see, data is used in a number of ways when we talk about monetization of data, not only internal use, but monetization. And the first one is industry. With the popping up of sensor networks very fast with new technologies, you will see in the coming 3 to 5 years that smart buildings, smart cities, and smart homes will really get real now. We talk about those things since years, but the price of sensors are going down really quickly. In 1 year or 2 years, the price of a sensor network connection will be a tenth of what it is today. So a lot of possibilities there. But we are getting more personal by entering into the pockets of people with things like these. Mobile payment applications, quite interesting. We are in this business since a while now, but you get more personal and you have to be prudent with the data you're managing. This we already discussed a couple of times this morning, but very interesting, but again, very important that you handle, that you take care of consent, of trust, of privacy, of identity very well, and that's what we are doing. And this one really is the future. It's very strange, but when Apple announced already a couple of times, it's Apple Watch and not its iWatch, they say that it is the future of wearables, and that's maybe why people don't believe in it anymore. Personally, I am a believer because I think it's really the next big thing. Some telco operators in the world already say that the next wave of selling stuff will not be smartphones, but will be wearables. And why? I'll explain you. Not because only these guys, these toys, through their sensors, generate tons and tons and tons of data, but through intelligent algorithms made by guys like Google and the rest, they can connect into supercomputers like the Watsons of IBM. This means that already now you can put the intelligence of the most intelligent supercomputer in the world in your pocket. In the US, I already saw a toy company that produces a computer-aided automated learning system in a toy for kids. In the back end, there's the IBM Watson, and it's developed by a startup on Kickstarter. So that's a little bit the business we will be in the coming years. Very, very powerful. These guys I believe in as well. It's not because it's Apple, because it can also be Google now or something else, but I personally believe that for the good, you will have personal assistance through your wearable, through your smartphone, reacting on combinations of sensor data out in the street, in your home, around your pulse, etc., and advise you on what you have to do next. We, as a company as well, are looking into this kind of stuff. Voilà. What will be the role of Proximus in all of this? Today we are already very far in discovering everything with regards to location, everything with regards to viewing data, but we will go much further, and we will enter more and more in the pockets and in the bodies of people, or around the bodies of people, by entering in these wearable devices. And what will be our role? It's not sure yet, but what we will certainly be and have to be is a sort of broker. We have always been a broker of voice and data services. We will at least be a broker of big data services. But we have to do more than that. We have to do much more than that. We have to aggregate data, we have to bring together and distribute this data, and we have to make it available in some extent to the larger public, combined with open data, in another extent to corporate and small corporates, and also, as well as I mentioned earlier, to universities to make sure that they can do and develop the things for tomorrow. I thank you very much.